I'm saying. I'm sure it's real complicated to understand. Imagine a Rubik's Cube that that all the colors are scattered, right? So there's nothing matching at the moment. The lower left cube, if let's say you just have a top view of it, and a top 2D view of a Rubik's Cube. And so you know that, let's say if it's kind of like a, like what are those games like, you know, the ones that you just you like shift the columns and the rows and you match the crystals and the gems and the Candy Crush, Candy Crush, right? So imagine something like that, but you just have a Rubik's Cube: blue, green, red, yellow, orange, or okay, all these colors. Each row each row is a symbol of a month. Now let's say the Rubik's Cube is a calendar, right? Let's say the month of May. If you decided to, I'm gonna imagine that I want to experience something on May 3rd. Okay, I want to experience something. I know what I want. I'm gonna actively, let's say for 3 days, I'm gonna actively do something, some kind of meditation or mental picture of what I want. At that moment of you doing that mental exercise, according to all other consciousness, states of consciousness, and it's something that you can experience in physics, right? Let's say skydiving. You've never done it before. You've never booked anything, no plans for nothing. You just, I want to go skydiving. Okay, cool. You actively start doing that mental, oh, I'm flying through the air. I have my parachute on. Everything works. I had a great experience. Bam. You do that mental exercise on the 3rd of May. And based on everything, let's just say that these amazing computers and calculators that our minds are, the human brain is, it is calculated already. It's at that moment, there's a predetermination that your experience will happen on Friday, May 26th. And
not May 3rd?
Correct. You began your exercise on May 3rd.
Oh, okay.
You began your mental exercise on May 3rd. And based on, again, on all consciousness interacting, the consciousnesses that you interact with, your family, friends, loved ones, all that, will have an effect on you. So based on all these, I don't want to say the universe because that starts to sound a little woo.
Yeah,
I don't. But let's just say that the collective unconscious, this conglomerate of mental thoughts from humans, determines that your experience will land on the 26th. So somewhere around let's say the 10th, so about a week after, around the 10th, you come across some commission and it gives you more money than you expected. Oh, okay, cool. Well, you know what? On the 11th, I'm going to book this thing. Bam, I came across money, right? So you had done the exercise on the 3rd. On the 10th, you received the extra cash that now booking this skydiving trip is a piece of cake. On the 11th, you booked the skydiving trip. And let's say on the 13th, the following Saturday, after you book that trip, somebody starts to tell you all these like crazy horror stories about skydiving and like, oh man, I don't know, I wouldn't do it, this and that, like all this stuff. So now that mental state comes into play. So now after being determined on the 3rd that you were going to experience this on the 26th, now you have a new interpretation of what that experience is going to be like, and now you're coming from an energy of trying to avoid that. Like, oh man, I really don't want it. Now I'm having second thoughts. So that's, although you've already booked on the 26th, the mental information that's out there, let's say the collective unconscious, now is starting to recalculate your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, your everything that's being projected through your mind out there to the collective unconscious. And now it's going to make something happen to where the company itself tells you like, hey, there's actually bad weather been projected for that day. We're gonna bump you back a week. And now the point that I'm trying to make is that every single second of every single day counts, is important to executing this, whatever it is that you wish to experience in reality. Every single second counts. And the more you're in a negative state of consciousness, the more delay that there's going to be between your experience and that initially what you wanted. The more positive, like let's say use that same example, the 26th from when you did the exercise on the 3rd, and it was determined that the 26th was the most optimal moment for you to have this experience. You cannot shorten that time. You can extend it because of negativity or whatever. But as positive as you could ever possibly be, you cannot make something. Let me just go ahead and straight up say this: there is no way that anybody can manifest anything faster than it is already going to happen.
Well, that's why I bring up the point of like water. When we first started, what are the limits of it? That would be a limit there.
Okay.
Although, let's say, for instance, back to the lottery thing. Let's say the lottery's tomorrow.
Okay.
So someone's gonna win it tomorrow.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
More than likely.
So someone's gonna win it tomorrow.
Sure.
Let's say. The limiting factor there is not really the time, because it is tomorrow is the prize. You know what I mean? So there would be no way to apply the law of attraction in that case to win the lotto within 24 hours. That's too much of an ask. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find the limits of this thing. Yeah.
That specific scenario that you presented, I don't know, because automatically I already thought about a scenario that would trump that, what you just said. So, okay, the lotto is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's say friends, family, relative comes knocking on the door an hour from now. Like, hey, say, I missed your birthday last week, but here, man, take this lottery ticket for, it's for tomorrow. But, I got it, yesterday thinking that I was going to come and visit you, and you didn't know I was going to come to visit you.
Yeah.
So things like that are possible.
Well, trump it in the sense that if you want it, sure, no.
Yeah. That would be it. Yeah, that would be it. Yeah.
Which is another thing I wanted to say. For instance, like, let's say I'm thinking, like, I want to manifest a box of gold bricks at my door.
Okay.
And I thought, I want to manifest a box of gold bricks at my door next week. Would that be too much of an ask? Because that's a box of gold bricks. I would think is probably a couple million, right?
Yeah.
Let's just call it $1 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A box of gold bricks at my door, nothing violating the laws of physics in any way. For whatever reason, it wound up on my door. In your case, say it could have been someone, when you were in the force, you saved someone's life, and they're at the end of their life, and they thought about you, and you know what, I want this dude to have my money, and you were in your mind manifesting a box of gold bricks, and sure enough, a box of gold bricks shows up at your door. There's a note, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but you saved my life, this and that, or whatever. So that, for me, is perfectly explainable through the laws of physics. There's no magic.
Absolutely.
It didn't appear out of thin air.
Absolutely.
So, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Now, that opens up a big rabbit hole. Think about what you just said, right? In this scenario, so let me stretch those roots even further. What made you think of that? What made you think of that desire of a box of gold?
Well,
hold on. Was it your own, or was it that friend that you just mentioned yesterday thinking, I want to give this box of gold to my friend, and the next day you had that.
Sure, could have been
right. Like, for me, it all comes down to, where does desire come from? That is one of the. No one will ever explain that ever. No one ever can or never will, more than likely.
Yeah.
Where does that... Personally, telepathy comes into play. Telepathy is physics. It's just mind to mind. It's as if sometimes just like radios, your radio can pick up specific signals. The mind can pick up specific thoughts. I have personal experiences from telepathy myself. Precognitive dreams, that's telepathy. All these situations that I personally experienced myself, and there's a lot of documented research done on all this stuff, especially a lot with like young children and their mothers. A lot of experiences where you feel something's not right. That in itself is telepathy. So that's just where I wanted to kind of interject that idea of if within a week you had to manifest something, how is one sure that that desire was even your own in the first place?
And it wasn't set in place a year ago or whatever. Sure.
Exactly. Very good point. But to this point of making it happen in a week, is that too short? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because again,
because something might have been working already for a year.
Or 5 years or whatever. But the only reason I ask that is because I know that that's what a lot of people are going to be thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they hear about this, they're going to think like, all right, well, that's cool, it works, but let's see it. Manifest $1 million.
Yeah.
When you manifest $1 million, I'm all in. You know what I mean?
And even manifesting $1 million tomorrow isn't impossible.
I know.
It is not.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is
Keeping
not.
it with, we're not talking...
No magic, no
It
nothing.
appears out of thin air, you know? That's not... We're saying somehow it ended up...
Yeah. You make the right stock moves. You make the right... You sell a company.
Whatever it is.
Whatever.
But the thing is...
You find something in the backyard as you're cleaning up, and like you said, right? All of a sudden you find like... a penny that's worth $1 million from who knows, you know, whatever the case. The many scenarios that one can, you know, concoct in one's mind. I think that the most important thing in that scenario, let's stick with this. What is it? A box of bricks?
Box of gold bricks.
A box of gold bricks
Shows up at your door.
I think that the thing that has the highest value in the pie chart, whether it's can it happen? Will it happen? Has it ever happened? Of all this stuff in your pie chart, the biggest percentage, if what occupies the biggest percentage is that you believe it's going to happen. I think that is the most powerful piece of this puzzle, is the belief that it will happen. Right? Just for whatever reason. You could be that crazy. Like for me, I consider some of the things that I've you know, put my mind to, and I'm like, it's kind of silly, but whatever, man. I've experienced this and I've experienced that. And I think that the persons that speak confidently about the law of attraction have a track record or a list of, you know, have a resume in their own mind of all these things that they've experienced that they've attributed to that. And I'm speaking personally as well, from my personal experience. I'm going to say, I'm going to use this combination of words because is what I feel. I know that the law of attraction is always working. That whatever, again, no magic, no nothing. It's all humans actively, continuously, actively thinking of things. Some things they are going to experience. Some things are going to be close to what they had imagined, and that is a part of nature. That's just it. That's a part of nature. Other animals can't do it. I think some can, subconsciously. Let's say a tiger is roaming around and it hasn't eaten in a week, and of course is feeling hella hunger. All of a sudden, bam. You know, little baby monkey playing over here. Okay, bam, got a Scooby snack. Let me go get it. So my intuition guides me to lean toward that. Even animals are doing it. Even plants are doing it on some level. However, us being the lucky ones, I suppose that we have self-awareness, consciousness. We can use the imagination to boost our chances of these experiences that we want actually happening to us in physics, in this life experience.
So,
just because it's always happening.
So for someone, for instance, in your particular case, if someone says, well, why haven't you manifested $1 million? What would you say to them? Is it because you haven't believed it enough? If that's the main factor in it,
Yeah,
do you not believe
Great question.
you can manifest $1 million next week? Let's say.
Yeah, great question. Great question. I would say I don't know, right? I don't know why. I don't have the supreme intelligence, let's say, right? The supreme calculator. All I know is that I see myself living in a amazing home on top of a hill with a swimming pool and an art studio. I've been seeing myself in this home, in my studio, hanging out at my pool, in my imagination since about 2017. When it's going to happen, I have no idea.
So you can't.
I'm convinced that it's going to happen.
So you can't quite predict when necessarily, or it's not very predictable.
Absolutely, I would say it is 100% never known to the human when it will happen. If anyone can call out the day and the time that, even the day, let's just leave it loosely. Even the month, leave it even more loose to say, I want to experience it then, in that month. But then again, I imagined myself telling my family that I was no longer a police officer at Thanksgiving, and 2017, it didn't happen. So I was willing to wait another year. For me, I was stubborn in my mind, like it has to be Thanksgiving, and it happened Thanksgiving. So in a way, so I called it out. I called it out literally the day Thanksgiving. I'm telling in my imagination, I kept on telling my family, and it was so believable because in 2017, late 2017, I was already like financially capable of making this big move. So I think, was it believable for me? Like, yeah, I could do it now, but I want to do it on Thanksgiving. And it didn't happen. I'm like, again, it didn't happen in 2017, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Well, now I'm going to be even more financial. I'm going to save up some more till 2018 of Thanksgiving of 2018. So cool. Of course it's going to happen.
And you left to Florence in 2019,
January,
was it?
Yeah.
Why Florence? Because California has decent art schools. There's Cal Arts. There's Pasadena Art College or Art Center, something like that. There's one in Santa Monica also, I think.
And even nationally,
so,
too.
like, what was the choice or the thinking behind Florence?
For me, I wanted to... First of all, I've always loved traveling. Since joining the Marine Corps, I got an opportunity to go to a couple places around the world, and I love that. I think for me also, that's why I find it so believable that I'm going to be touring, and I'm going to be, because I know what that is. I know what it's like to go to an airport, check in real fast, check into a hotel. I've done it so many times, just on my own. But for me, that's why I'm going to accomplish that too. That's a piece of cake. When will it happen? I'm not in a rush. I'm enjoying this process. Right now my main focus is art, and the music will come. But Florence was, I initially narrowed it down to two places. I think it's called the Masters Academy in Canada.
Oh, okay. Where in Canada? Toronto, or do you remember?
I don't remember exactly what city in Canada.
That would have been cool too, Canada.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I narrowed it down to Canada or Florence. And the idea that I'm going to go and step on the grounds of all these amazing minds that were walking around the planet.
Florence.
Man, John Singer Sargent, of course, Leonardo, Michelangelo, right? Caravaggio, all these, all these minds that were there. I'm like, that's going to be the best for me. That, and I want to be as far away from everyone and anyone that can have access to me. I don't want to have an easy way to get back home. Should I have to? And excuse me. So that played a role, and I was like, man, I have to go there. So,
and you wound up meeting.
And I saw Justin Chancellor, dude. I met that dude there, man. It was awesome. Again, something I didn't plan for or expected, but And so like to speak on defining the time of experience, right? I knew that it had to be right if I'm going to experience meeting, one of the band members of Tool. Well, it had to be in that specific time frame, right? I suppose it could have been a year from there, but I mean, I didn't know if I was going to be there another year, exactly. But again, my mentality for having the desire to meet a Tool was in that short week span.
Do you happen to know if they ended up touring where you would have gotten in Canada? Might that have been a possibility or no?
I didn't check. I don't think they went to. I don't think they went to Canada that tour that year.
Had they gone, you probably would have still met them, right?
Man, I suppose, dude. I suppose, man. But all these are valid questions, right? The $1 million question is, can you manifest the lottery?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I'm sure. Perhaps some have, but they just haven't spoken on it. I mean, I haven't really seen too many interviews of people winning the lotto. Like, that's not something I pay attention to. But I can imagine somebody saying, I was imagining myself doing it, and I won it.
But to that, of course, people are going to say, okay, so you can, so go ahead. Where is it?
Yeah,
tomorrow's the lotto. Let's, you know what I mean?
Sure. So with the lotto, because it's money, right? Every human consciousness that has self-aware consciousness is more than likely, well, let's say 80%, right? I'm sure there's some who really don't give a damn about it. But 80% of human consciousness is focused on this attainment of money in the easiest way.
Sure.
I just want to get it. I don't want to bust my ass for it. Some do, and some are, I want to get $1 million working my ass off for it. And that's cool too. I mean, everything is, again, money brings comfort. Money brings joy. It allows you to do the things that you want to do. I have a hard time understanding any negative connotation on money. I don't compute for me. No matter what you want to do, if all you want to do is be a beach bum, well, you're gonna have to get some clothes. You're gonna have to get a shower, right? All that stuff is money. Even if it's $10 here and there,
what do you make of? Have you heard that? They say a lot of people that win the lotto end up miserable and they end up broke. A lot of them.
I have.
What do you make of that?
I think that's just not understanding how to utilize money. That just comes down to money consciousness, right? Like
some even go as far as to say, like, I wish I never won it.
I've heard that absolutely.
To the point of you were just saying.
I recall a specific article that I read once that this girl was suing the lotto.
Oh damn! Ruined her life or what?
Had she not won the lotto, she wouldn't have done all these like surgeries to her face. So she did a lot of cosmetic stuff, and it ended up making her more miserable.
Super ridiculous lawsuit, of course. But
yeah, I'm like, what?
No one had you at gunpoint.
Exactly. How strange. And I'm just like, well, it's extremely valuable to have an understanding of, like, prepare yourself for it, right? Every single human should be prepared to win the lotto, in my opinion. Prepare yourself.
Dude, trust me, I am. I am prepared.
Prepare yourself. Dude, check this out. Let me share this with you. So I was, like I do, I actively play the lotto, of course. To win it, you got to play it. So I was getting a ticket, and I was waiting in line at a donut shop, and this gentleman, Asian guy, spoke very little to broken English, but he kind of tapped me, like he had a scratcher, and he tapped me, and he looked at me, and he was like, "Oh, I got a winner," and I was like, "Oh, you won? Cool, good." And then I just, I didn't mind him, I wanted to leave him to his privacy, but then he was kind of like getting my attention again. He's like, "Yeah, I won." I'm like, "Yeah, you won, good." And he's like, 1,000, I won 1,000. And I'm like, "Oh, awesome.
Sweet.
And then he was, all of a sudden, his face got like bitter, dude. And I'm like, the heck's wrong with this dude, man, right? And he's just like, "Man, I won ticket like 3 months ago, or I won a ticket like a year ago or something like that, another 1,000. And he's like, "Man, it takes 3 months to get it. It takes 3 months." And he was mad. He was upset that he wasn't going to get his $1,000 like tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And I'm thinking, and I was telling him, I'm like, oh, it takes 3 months. Okay, cool. So what are you going to do in 3 months? I'm like, You're like, tell me. I'm like, if I were you, I'll pick up the phone and I'll make reservations right now to my favorite restaurant for 3 months from now. And I would say, give me my favorite table, my favorite, all that 3 months from now. And I'm going to go and enjoy myself. But this dude was bitter, dude. He was mad. So he wanted me to help him communicate to the lady behind the counter to see if they were willing to give him like 700 cash in exchange for the ticket.
Oh, what?
He wanted the money right then and there.
come
Like,
on, man.
not satisfied, bro, with winning $1,000. You see, that's the wrong mentality, man.
No. If you want the right mentality, pro tip, if any of you out there want to be ready to win the lotto, there's a video by this guy. He does a lot of finance talk. I think his name is Graham Stephen, and he breaks it down like, all right, if you win the lotto, this is what you need to do. Step by step, everything.
Beautiful.
A lot of key points, some things you may have not thought of, like, oh shit, you know what? Yeah, that's check that video out. He'll tell you where to put your money, where to save it, where to invest it, etc. Because if you win a lump sum, you can set it up in such a way that you, obviously with a lotto, generally speaking, you don't have to worry about money again.
Generally,
but he adds an extra level of security, because a lot of people just blow the money. They start buying yachts or whatever, and they buy all their friends a Lambo, and in a year their money's gone.
People can spend multi-millions easily in a year, man. I wouldn't be surprised.
Just take a trip out to Dubai, and I mean,
man, it's be prepared, man, be prepared, because it can happen. It can be you, listener. It could be you tomorrow. It could be any of us, right? And if you're not prepared for it, you're gonna end up hoping that you win it again because you got nothing, So very valuable. But things like that, right? I think that's a very important thing. Is how strongly do you believe that what you are looking to make manifest, are you looking to have an actual experience? Like, how strongly do you believe that is going to happen? Go beyond the level of plausibility, then go beyond the level of probability, then go to the level of I know it's gonna, again, some that have had multiple experiences, one just gets to a level of I know it's gonna happen. Just like I know, tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow's always been Monday, and tomorrow's gonna be Monday tomorrow. Whatever like for myself, I'm gonna be a house on the hill with a swimming pool and an art studio. Is that gonna be tomorrow? I don't know, but I'm gonna keep on imagining myself enjoying living there, enjoying taking the dip in the pool, enjoying working in my studio, enjoying all that. When is it gonna happen? I'll let you know when it happens. But that's just time. That's what I mean by everything is physics. No matter what, everything is always physics.
Yeah, dude. Well, again, I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface. There's so many more questions, and we can expand on this further. We'll leave it for another time. But yeah, man. It's
cool, man. Yeah, this for me, like I've shared with you before, man. This is an awesome topic. But because that main objective of seeing millions in the bank account has not been achieved yet, is one of the reasons why I'm like a little bit more delaying this chat, just because it's a valid point, right? It's a valid point.
It's a valid ask.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
To something like everybody's already been preconditioned to The Secret, and like, all right, well, show me the million, then I'll believe it. So it's
valid.
I can see why.
Yeah,
I can see why.
Valid. But nonetheless, anybody who's curious about the law of attraction, approach it trying to understand every concept and word that is explained or expressed within the laws of physics. It is just a physical, natural occurring thing. Once you experience that thing that you want to experience, you'll be able to track back in reverse order what led to what, that led to what, that led to what, that finally led to the objective. And you'll see, even to anybody that asks them about their experience, it began with a thought, of course, as generally all things do in human experience. But within physics, something happens, that happens again, that happens, and so on and so forth, that finally lead to the desired outcome.
And I'm
So,
still looking forward to you speaking further with your brother, not just on this topic, but I'd like to.
cool.
I'd like to hear your brother on another episode again.
Cool.
Yeah.
My older brother's a man of very few words.
Yeah. No, but,
But
dude,
he's
I enjoyed the podcast.
cool,
man.
man.
With him on it.
And another reason why I'm personally also really enjoying making these podcasts is I'm getting to know the persons, whether they're my friends or my family, a bit more. Even with my cousin Anthony, he's sharing some things that I never knew about the dude. Like, and we've known each other all our lives.
Yeah,
you know?
that I honestly like. That's some of my favorites. It would be hard to pick a favorite because
Cool.
I've loved every episode, dude, including your solo one and
Awesome, man.
all of them, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll wrap it up then here on this session.
Yeah.
Like always, if you enjoyed the video and you want to show some love, the best way to do so is to pick up some merch. Get yourself a t-shirt, a tank top, some stickers. A link to the shop will be in the description below. If you want to reach out to me in regards to a commission, you can do so through Instagram or email. And lastly, feel free to share the video and spread the word about the channel. Greatly appreciate the support in helping the channel grow. And Octavio, anything in closing?
Oh no, dude. Like I said, I feel like we barely scratched the surface, and whatever further questions I have, I'll leave it for another AMA style.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, again, thanks again for taking the time to hang
course,
out,
man.
brother.
Yeah,
Man,
of course.
always appreciate it. To everyone out there in this amazing spiral, enjoy life, take care of your mind, and be kind.